Alright, welcome back. Easter Eternal, hosted at Tabernacle Games. I'm joined by Isaac Egan, another fresh face. How's your day gone?
Well, much better now that I get to sit here and do some commentary with you. I had to play some pesky Magic in the morning.
Yeah.
3 whole rounds.
3 rounds. And so you won them all, right?
And then dropped, yeah. Look, I lost the first round. It was a pretty sweet match.
Okay.
It came down, so I was playing Bant Miracles with Uro and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
And I was playing against Burn. And I basically had this situation where I played Uro to go up to 3 life.
Yep.
I actually went up to 6 life, but he had a suspended Rift Bolt.
Right?
Ooh,
okay.
The thing was that he needed to draw, so I went up to basically 3 with this Uro that's about to just take over the game.
Yep.
He's got 0 cards in hand, but he's also got an exiled Rift Bolt from what's that? It's light up the stage.
Okay.
So I'm meddling up the specifics here, but basically he had to draw a land in order to play the Rift Bolt.
Right, wow.
Or he had to draw a burn spell.
All right, well, we're going to head down to the table. We've got round 4. They're going to get started just in a second here. We've got Simon Wolters on the left, John Simpson on the right. I don't know what either of them are playing. They're waiting patiently for us down at the table.
Awesome.
So, you played today. I heard you were also involved in helping with prizes for the event.
Yeah, so Rob's MTG Auctions is a sponsor for the event.
Awesome.
So what that basically entails is that I was like, hey man, I really want to play some Highlander. Can we get this happening at the closest venue to me?
And no bias at all. Definitely not.
And I was like, I'll even sponsor it.
Sweet. I mean, sometimes you just got to buy the tournament, right?
Well, it's just being part of the community and wanting to contribute to the community is super important to Rob's MTG Auctions and to me. And also playing some Highlander, and then I was like, oh, we're going to play one Highlander event, we should put a second Highlander event on. And I'm like, oh, if we're going to have 2 Eternal events, we should have Legacy as well.
Yeah, why not? Just add the whole lot.
Yeah, so here we are with Legacy.
This is awesome. So you were playing Bant Miracles in
Yeah.
Legacy. What was your driving force behind deciding to play that?
I was like, hey, Jiggins, what deck should I play? And Jiggins is like, you should play this deck. And I was like, what about these other decks? And he's like, you should play the deck that I said.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, okay.
Well, he's 3-0 with that deck at the moment, so,
Yeah, he gave me some sideboarding notes. Yeah. I made some interesting decisions that ultimately were wrong, which I think Jiggins would have probably made different decisions, and that's probably the difference of why he's in the top 8 and I am not.
Looks like we're off here. Yep. Simon on a mulligan to 5.
With a Flooded Strand.
Some blue stuff. John, looks like I can see a Bayou in John's hand.
Misty Rainforest.
And I can see a Preordain. It's getting an Underground Sea. So something on the blue-black spectrum, blue-black-green probably.
Yeah, so there's a bug deck. That was the one that I said, Jiggins, what about this deck? And Jiggins is like, no, don't play that.
Look, I've been told there's some bug Death Shadow and bug Delver.
Yeah, so it's a bug pile deck as well that Pokimoki has the most legacy trophies on MTGO.
Yeah, right.
Has been playing bug pile.
Yeah, okay.
Interestingly, I checked the person who has the second most trophies is also playing bug pile.
Huh.
And so that was the deck that I was like, hey Jiggins, shouldn't I play this deck? And he was like, no, play this deck.
Maybe it's got a good matchup about it against it. We might actually find out here. We have an Icefang Coatl and a Teferi Time Raveler. So there's something along the Bant colour spectrum.
Yep.
Probably Miracles. I mean, Snow used to be the deck, but with Astrolabe gone, you got to imagine that the Miracles shell is the right place to be with it, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's certainly all 5 of those cards, cards that I was playing in my deck.
And, once again, Simon, mulligan to 5, and then a Thoughtseize is playing from behind from turn 1 here,
Yep.
The Sylvan Library got Thoughtseized away, left the Icefang Coatl and the Teferi Time Raveler. Simon's just going to be down on resources. He's going to have to draw some haymakers to get back into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not haymakers that he needs. I think he needs incremental advantage.
Okay, so more Icefangs.
Yeah, Icefang, an Uro, maybe a Narset will totally.
Sure.
Narset's a haymaker.
Narset's so good. So silly. And
Things
a Ponder,
like
okay.
things like Ponder, like they don't actually give you card advantage,
Yep.
whereas the Ice Coatl does.
Yep. Yeah, I'd much rather Ponder with 7 cards in hand than with 3 or 4. Because you can take the one good card you need, and if you've got 7 cards, it doesn't matter if you're drawing a medium card as well.
Yeah.
Whereas Simon needs all of his cards to be hits right now.
Yeah.
We still don't entirely know what John is playing.
So we're thinking it could be a Bug Pile deck. We're seeing some Thought Seizers here.
Thoughtseize, Underground Sea. There's definitely a Bayou in hand.
Alex, not to play the Thought Seize that's in hand at the moment. So John's got a Thought Seize in hand.
Maybe waiting to see, if the goods were hidden by that Ponder, if they were coming down the following turn.
Yep. So we got the first basic here. There needs to be 3 basics in order to turn on Icefang Coatl.
For the Death Touch, right?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get Icefang Coatl on the screen here for everybody at home. If you're not a Legacy expert, here it is. It's like Baleful Streaks, except better, worse.
Yeah, so it's got Flash, which is super relevant.
Super relevant.
But the downside of only having Death Touch when you have the 3 basics in play, that actually, that comes up where you don't have the 3 basics.
I mean, it was previously easier than 3 basics. You could have 2 basics and an Astrolabe. You'd have 1 basic, 2 Astrolabes.
Yeah, because it's like actually other snow permanents.
Yeah, or even redundant copies of itself.
Yep.
But without Astrolabe, it's a lot harder. You really, maybe you'll have 2 Ice Fangs and 2 basics, but most of the time it's going to be 3 basics. We do see the Bayou come down. Alright, so John electing to show off the green, and we don't know what it is yet.
Cracking the fetch here after playing that Brainstorm. Tell you what, Brainstorm, beautiful card.
It's so ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so innocuous, it's just a measly 1 mana cantrip. It doesn't do anything crazy. It just draws 3 and puts 2 cards back.
Yep.
And that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't need to do anything fancy. It doesn't need an extra 3 lines of text if it was printed in Strixhaven. It's just it does the thing that's written on the card.
So, I've got something I want to... Ooh, is that a Dark Ritual?
I think that is.
Whoa.
Hold on to your seats.
We are not on Bug Pile. What is going on here?
Oh.
We're getting out some mana cards to denote how much mana is in pool. This is glorious. This took a turn.
Yeah, so this could be Storm, this could be
Yeah, it's Storm seems like a decent option with green being for Veil.
Mm-hmm. Could be Reanimator in some weird configuration.
Alright, Thought Seize. Okay, so we've got a Storm counter and a mana counter. So
okay.
It's possibly
Doomsday could be an option.
Doomsday.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Entirely right. And see Simon going for a shuffle here. Maybe wanting to cast this Icefang Coatl in response.
Ozman says Storm then, not Doomsday. Interesting.
It's definitely one or the other.
Yep.
Something on that unfair axis. Dark Ritual, really powerful at accelerating things out, but it's not here for a long game,
Yeah, so Simon, looking at his hand, saying a lot of nothing, but this Thought Seize is probably going to take the snake.
Yeah, that or a Teferi.
Oh, no, he actually had a Hardcast Force of Negation.
Okay, leaving Simon with 2 cards
and
in
then
hand.
the Veil of Summer. So draw a card, up the Storm count, resolve the Thought Seize, draw
The 2 cards in hand were known as well, the Icefang and the Teferi.
Yep.
Wow.
Teferi down. I don't know if John drew from the Veil or not, but
Another ritual.
I feel like it's probably not relevant.
So Simon elected there to fetch the Tropical Island rather than a basic forest. Could be a nod to the fact that the Death Touch is unlikely to matter if your opponent's playing Dark Rituals, and you'd rather just get the more consistent mana.
I also don't know if John counted the storm from the force of negation, so I think his storm counter is right. I think it's at 6 at the moment.
Should be ritual, Thoughtseize, force, veil, ritual.
So I think it's 3 rituals now.
Was there? I think there was only 2. Might be 3.
3 rituals,
Well, I mean, there's
force
6
negation,
blood, yeah.
veil, Thoughtseize.
Looks like they're just consulting with a judge at the moment or something.
No, maybe it is 6.
No?
Maybe it is 6. Maybe that is correct. Yeah. Yeah, it is correct, I think.
Hopefully the players know what they're doing. And we're going to see what the end result here is. John's down to 1 card. Simon's down to 1 card. What's it going to be? What's the payoff, John? What can I say is in this deck pile here? There we go.
So we've got a DT.
Nauseum. Infernal Tutor.
Infernal Tutor, which is
Not
DT when 0 cards in hand. So I guess we will see just a Tendrils here, but it's not quite enough.
Could be getting... Well, Past in Flames wouldn't do it either. Storm is 7. 4 black mana. Yeah, Tendril's going to leave his opponent on some life here.
Yeah.
I'm not certain. And it is just a Tendrils. Okay, some quick math on the life totals here. Assuming that that's all resolving. No, looks like perhaps I've got the wrong storm count. They've definitely put Simon on 4.
There's 2 fetch lands.
So 8 Tendrils is 16 damage.
16, yeah.
I think Simon should be on 2, right?
Yeah.
16 from the Tendrils.
Ah, there we go. Oh. Well, no, their life total, I think they've just got the wrong life totals in play.
Well, I'm going to leave you to commentate on this.
Yeah, cool.
While I run away.
So it's interesting. When we have a life total discrepancy, it's certainly good that coverage can notice it and then can step in and just confirm these things, which I think is what Jimbo is going to do now. So when you're storming off like that, it's certainly a good idea to be able to kill them in 1 turn. But sometimes you can't do that, but you can create this situation where if you draw another Tendrils, then you can just put them down to dead. So, and that's what John's elected to do, considering that was, he saw it as his best option as far as like going off this turn. So he's got that extra land now, so he just needs to find another Tendrils in order to do that last 2 points of damage. Which, he's got a lot of time in order to do that because he's on 28 life.
27. Come on, mate.
27. Oh, jeez, sorry. 26 now at the fetch, yeah? Oh.
That's a real clock over there.
Yeah.
And that Ice Quaddle does have Death Touch now. The draws for Simon were land, at least. There's another card in hand. Don't know what that one is. They knew there was 8 storm, 16 damage, 20 minus 16 is 4. They missed the 2 from the fetch lands. Yeah, they'd done the 2, and then they did the 16, but they didn't do the 16 and the 2.
Okay.
Got there in the end.
Okay. So there's 3 rituals: Thoughtseize, Veil of Summer, the Force of Negation. That was 6, and then the Infernal Tutor, which was 7, and then Tendrils, which was 8.
Yeah. We're getting a little bit of slowdown here. We're getting a little bit of slideshow going on. Looked like a duress in those top 3 on that brainstorm.
And duress.
Kind of hope that the others supreme verdict.
Well played, duress.
Kind of hoping if you're in John's seat that there was other good stuff in that brainstorm, because if you've kept it just on duress and nothing else.
Well, there could just be a Tendril on top of his library.
That's an option.
Or it could be an Infernal Tutor. Yep. And he just wanted to, because he couldn't play the... Well, the Infernal Tutor could have played that turn. Right. Oh, no, just pass go. Yep. And what do we got here? What is that card?
Is that
another Icewind card? No, Snapcaster Mage? No.
Hull Breacher?
Is that a Hull Breacher?
I don't even know.
It's a shiny card.
Yeah, I mean...
it's shiny Reflective Slate.
That was 5 damage? Okay, alright. Well,
What is that?
We were saying in the previous round that if you leave one spot of glare on the table, the players will find it.
Yeah.
They will hone in on that one spot. Alright, so it's 4 damage, so it's a 3-power creature. It's
Probably Hellbreacher?
Hull Breacher, Vendilion Click, wouldn't have been a click. Brazen Borrower, but it doesn't look like the right text box.
Oh, it is a Hellbreacher.
It is definitely a Hull Breacher.
Oh
boy.
Simon is pointing out to John how Hellbreacher works.
Yeah, that's not
It's not what you want to do. Yeah.
And John's putting 2 cards back to the Brainstorm. Another Icefang Coatl coming down here.
So mull to 5, and
Is that another Hull Breacher as well?
looks like
Looks like that might be 8 damage coming across here. John down to 9.
Yep.
A swift turnaround this was.
Yeah.
Uro coming down, just getting off 2 life.
Ooh, that is
really
huge. That
important.
is well, I mean, like we know that the top card that John has is like
Very true.
blank.
It was in John's hand already.
Yeah. So
But not being on 2 life is a good position when your opponent's playing Tendrils of Agony, you know?
yep.
And Uro getting flashed back here as well, escaping from the graveyard. Simon moving up to 8 life. Once they finish paying the cost and drawing their cards and all the
So I think
lovely
he's gone to 5. Oh, he
it was
stifled
twice.
He did it twice. How
Yeah,
did he do it
the
twice?
treasures.
Ah, the
Yeah.
treasures.
Yeah.
That is gross.
It's powerful.
That is gross.
Yeah, and that's going to be the end of game 1 there. We'll drag it back into the booth and have a think about what there might be in sideboarding options here.
I've got a question for chat.
Okay.
And a question for you, Jimbo, as
Yeah,
well. We
hit
can chat about this. Okay, so we're thinking about what second place prize should be.
Sure, okay,
Right.
yeah.
So I've got a deck box full of some like playable legacy
I
stuff.
saw some like Force of Negations.
Yeah, Force Engagements, a couple of null rods in
Yep.
there. So I can put up, I put in a couple of cards just to, we're sponsoring the event just to kind of pamper out the
Sure.
the top 8 prize. Because our
Make it
first
look
place
great.
is Volcanic Island.
I mean, everyone's here having a great time, and that's what they pay for.
Yeah, that's
There's
what
also
they pay for.
surprises. You know?
Yeah, prizes. Okay, so I had an idea, and I love this idea.
Okay.
But I'm curious what chat thinks and what you think.
Yeah.
So the idea is, second place is a Time Spiral Remastered foil.
Okay.
What you do is you just crack packs until you crack a foil, and you get to keep all of the cards.
Okay.
crack.
Wow.
What do you think?
An old border foil?
An old boarded foil, yeah. Time Spiral Remastered,
Ooh.
yeah.
Aren't they
Time
like
50 foil.
1 in a box or something like
One
that?
or 2 per box, yeah. So it's
That's
potentially a whole box.
Sweet prize.
But it could also just be like 1 pack. But it could be like a 1 pack into a Thoughtseize, in which case, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a cool prize idea.
It could be more than a box, right? Because like there could be
Do you,
0
like-
in a box.
Do you like offer them the choice? You know, you can be like, you can have 8 packs or shoot until you get it, you know?
Yeah, I think it'd have to be more than half a box. It's like 1 in 27 packs is is the average.
So you could say, all right, 15 packs or pull until you get a foil.
Yeah. So you could do it that way. Yeah.
That's a cool idea, you know, regardless of whether or not it's the right choice. That is a sweet idea. You're an ideas man.
Yeah.
All right, so we had Ad Nauseum Tendrils, or some sort of Tendrils list out of John, and Bant, Control, possibly Miracles, possibly not, out of Simon. Looking at some ideas here. What could be boarded in for Simon? I mean, there could be something like a Meddling Mage. Veil of Summer's pretty good against
Yeah,
Tendrils.
so Meddling Mage is certainly going to come in. Back to Basics is also going to come in.
Okay.
And then the Relics, probably in the Surgical, maybe the Veil,
Yeah,
Veil
sure.
of Summer. There's a bunch of cards that are actually just like, pretty garbage, which, like the Swords to Plowshares, the Terminus, the Wrath, Supreme Verdict.
Yeah, we did see
So there's
that
a
in
lot of cards to bring out.
Yep.
So anything that's like potentially decent, so Back to Basics.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, any of these 2/2s as well. Meddling Mage, Aethersworn Canonist,
Yep.
Containment Priest, like, it gets in for 2. Sometimes
Yeah, so
that's good
Containment
enough.
Priest is probably better than a Swords to Plowshares.
I wouldn't mind keeping, 1 Swords to Plowshares in. If your opponent boards in, the old decks used to board in things like Xanted Swarm and Dark Confidence.
Yeah,
Once
yeah,
you're down
yeah.
to no removal, guess what? I've got a Xanted Swarm, nice handful of counter spells.
Yep, yep.
Maybe we'll see that. On the other side, from Ad Nauseum, you got to think maybe there's more Veil of Summer.
Yep. Veil of Summer is a big one. Post-board gets a lot harder because your opponent knows what is going on. So the band player knows that it's all about having the forces and everything like that. So,
and I think we did see a Volcanic on the field in the last couple of turns there, which does signify that there is Passing in Flames in some capacity.
yeah, cool.
Looks like the players finished their sideboarding. They're shuffling up, just getting ready to draw their hands. So we'll head down to the table.
Savar thinks that the Time Spiral Remastered Kraken D Hitter Foil is a good idea.
It's a sweet idea. I know Savannah. He's a degenerate. And he will crack packs. And Savannah likes your shirt. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, cracking packs, like, there's nothing like it, you know?
Oh, I still love Kraken packs.
I mean, you owned a store. You've been on the other side of it.
Yeah, so when I did own the store, there was a certain time. Well, the things I didn't like, I actually still liked Kraken packs.
Yeah.
You know, apparently, like a lot of people just get sick of Kraken packs because it just takes so long. But like what we used to do with the store is we would say there's a bunch of degenerates that just love Kraken packs. So I was like, you can help me crack packs. You just have to help me sort them as well. And they're like, yeah, we'll take that. I just want to crack packs.
Oh.
So they would just crack packs with me and sort cards. Like it was just actually free labor.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be honest. I did the same thing when I worked at stores. You know, once you've cracked packs and sorted for 2 standard sets, 3 standard sets, 4 standard sets, the 10th one gets a bit boring. You know, you just want anyone to just come along and just sit and alphabetize with you.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, like we used to also do things like, if you crack like a foil Jace the Mind Sculptor in World Wake, or a foil Abyssal Persecutor, which was the hotness back then. There were the 2 chase cards, right? Jace the Mind Sculptor, which might have been good, might not have been. But Abyssal Persecutor, that was 4 mana 6/6.
The old Phyrexian Negator. Alright, looks like they've got some hands. I think John was also on a mulligan this game. Could have been a mull to 5, it looks like. Simon kept either a 7 or a 6. It looked like a 7. Volcanic Island off the bat. And a Flooded Strand.
Brainstorm and end of turn.
That signifies one of 2 things. Either John's hand is incredibly weak, or John's hand is incredibly strong.
Or he likes drawing cards.
Or he likes drawing. I mean, maybe you just want to get it under a hull breach.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, the other thing is you might be, like, trying to find a land, and you just needed to do that, but you also wanted to keep open Red Blast or a Spell Pierce or something like that.
Yeah, for the next play on the next turn.
Yeah, so...
and follow up another one.
Brainstorm.
Alright.
I like just using all these brainstorms before Hull Breacher can get down.
Yeah, brainstorm specifically. Like, Ponder, your Ponder gets Hull Breached, like, it sucks.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. Your Brainstorm gets Hull Breached, you're in
sucks.
trouble. Your opponent's got 3 free mana, you're down 2 cards out of it. It's not where anybody wants to be, that's for sure.
This interaction that happens in Legacy, which is a cornerstone of Legacy, is the Brainstorm Fetchland combination, and it's so powerful. I mean,
Jace and the Fetchlands were in the same standing. You know, that was where I think a lot of people got introduced to it. If you weren't playing Type 1.5 back in 2008 and prior, Jace introducing the ability to brainstorm every turn while you had Fetchlands in your deck.
It's just gross.
Oh.
It was just gross. But it was interesting that format also had Bloodbraid Elf, which actually kept Jace in play. Like, kept it in check.
Absolutely.
So it was Bloodbraid into Blightning.
Yeah.
So the card advantage that you had is gone. Draw to discard 2 cards. I'll attack and kill your Jace. And I have a 3/2.
And that looks like a deafening silence there.
Bring that one up. Because it
Out
says,
of,
no storm for you.
No storm. Unless you're going into Storm Elemental. Is that the guy? There's an
Oh, yeah.
avatar. It's like it's an XX equal to the storm count or something. I don't
Yeah,
even
it
know.
comes into play with X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of
Yeah,
spells you play this turn.
Not what you want to be storming into, and difficult to storm into it through a deafening silence.
Yeah.
Okay, so John's going to need to find an answer to that to continue playing his strategy.
And so John have, we didn't see his sideboard, but like often they'll have cards like Abrupt Decay in order to deal with problem permanents like this.
Yep, Abrupt Decay. You could see something like Nature's Claim as well, but I think that's a bit outdated.
Yeah.
And if you're not sure what your opponent's on, Chain of Vapor is the catch-all. You know, regardless of what the hate card is, if it's on the battlefield, Chain of Vapor will get it.
Man, Chain of Vapor. Bring up Chain of Vapor, because that card is complicated.
It's also really good in Storm, because you can generate additional Storm count.
Yeah, so particularly in Vintage,
No,
when
'cause-
you've got Moxes.
Yeah, you can bounce...
Yeah, you go Chain of Vapor, return target non-land permanent from its hand, then that permanent's control may sacrifice the land. If the player does, they copy this spell and may choose a new target for that copy.
That's
So,
right.
so you tap your Moxes for mana, you tap your lands for mana, you bounce your own Mox, you sack a land to bounce your other Mox, you sack another land to bounce their...
Problem permanent.
Yeah, problem
Deafening
permanent.
silence.
Not Deafening Silence.
Not back then.
Does it actually work? Because
Yeah,
what is it, copies? Yeah, okay, cool. So then you bounce the Deafening Silence, and then you get to play the Moxes. You actually add
That's
mana
right.
as a result, so it becomes
Yeah.
a ritual bounce spell.
There's a game I cast, actually. A player...
Is that a second one? Is that what's gone out there?
It's something. I'm not certain what it is. Opponent had a Null Rod in play, or a Stony Silence, and the Storm player's untapped and gone LED, LED, Chain of Vapor my LED, Chain of Vapor my other LED, Chain of Vapor your Null Rod, LED, LED, Storm's 5. Let's go.
That's so good.
Ooh, baby. Yeah, I'm not sure what that other permanent there is. It is a something. The light has shifted through the store over the rounds, and we're having to adjust adjust the coverage to match the light every single round, basically.
The light in this store is actually great.
Yeah, it's really neat.
I mean, a bit of a pain for coverage, but...
was that a Flusterstorm on a Uro? Because you can't Flusterstorm an Uro.
oh, might be a Spell Pierce.
It does. That doesn't help. I'll be back in a moment. Leave you with your glory.
All right, cool. So there's a lot of problem permanents, you know, like permanents that don't attack, block, but sit there against a storm deck, whatever they are. They certainly hurt things. So it's not looking good for John, but Storm is a bit of a resilient deck in that it can actually just sit there when there's no pressure, and then eventually just go all off on one turn. So wouldn't count John out at this point, although with a bunch of cards in hand, no pressure, but not playing lands, I suspect that Simon has some number of counter spells, so Force of Negation, Force of Wills, and blue cards in hand as well. Because otherwise, Simon would be playing lands, or, you know, like actually playing those permanents out. So, yeah. I think that Simon is certainly up here, but it's not 100%. We might see a rewind on this Flusterstorm. Because you certainly can't Flusterstorm a Uro. Brainstorm and Squadron Hawk survive. It was a great combo in Standard back in the day. Squadron Hawk shuffled your library, and then you could brainstorm the other Squadron Hawks back in, so it's actually just straight up like Ancestral Recalling every turn. From Simon's perspective, you know, getting a threat on the board at some point is certainly good, because it can actually just close out the game, but the big thing is to just not die. So if Simon can control the board, set everything up, and be in a position where he can't die, then it's going to be good times for him. Abrupt Decay is certainly going to be an integral piece of the puzzle here, just because there's going to be so many counters that there's no way that John can get off like a Thoughtseize, because he can only play one non-creature spell per turn, so he can't play Thoughtseize and then a removal spell. on the Deafening Silence.
I'm back!
Oh. Was it a Flusterstorm?
It was a Flusterstorm, and that's a Sylvan Library.
Ah, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's the mystery permanent there. We did manage to get everything back to where it should be. A little bit awkward, but these mistakes happen. You know, Magic players are human. We're not all Magic the Gathering online that is infallible. I can't even say that with a straight face.
I remember like putting my foot down. This is how this card works because it's how it works on Moto.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
This Zenith definitely shuffles in when I Snapcaster it.
So we saw there actually Thoughtseize, Brainstorm in response, and John went to Flusterstorm back. I don't know what you were discussing while I was away, but...
I was discussing this exact scenario.
All right, well...
I was just saying he can't go Thoughtseize and then a removal spell.
Yep, absolutely, yeah. So the Thoughtseize, you know, the Brainstorm's hiding the goods, the Thoughtseize is going to resolve. Neither player can cast another non-creature spell this turn.
And we see Force of Will, Snapcaster Mage, and some other things.
Ponder, I think that's another Force of Will, maybe a full art, and a Snapcaster.
So I mentioned that it takes the Snapcaster Mage despite the Deafening Silence in play.
Brainstorm? Snapcaster doesn't really care about Deafening Silence, it's a creature.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like you can't do fun stuff with, you know, casting a spell and then snapping something.
I totally like that Force of Will.
Is
Force
it?
of Will? Yeah, it's Force of Force.
Huh.
It's the Double Masters full art.
Sure. All right. Well, I'm glad you know your pimp cards because I definitely don't.
It is certainly my pimp of choice for Force of Will.
I use a Judge one personally.
I also accept the judgment. That is acceptable.
I'm glad I meet the requirements.
Yeah.
There it is there on the screen. And Teferi was the draw for turn. That's a nice draw. The Teferi and the Deafening Silence together really going to restrict John's ability to play the game.
Yeah, so what we were talking about earlier was Abrupt Decay, just being like this.
Yep.
Just a required part.
Sure, yeah. John is holding 2 Flusterstorms, it's worth noting. There was the one cast on the Uro, and then another one was drawn shortly after. Not great in the face of both Deafening Silence and Teferi. Either one of those really hampers Flusterstorm, and the pair of them together, it's just going to sort of put an end to any hopes of Flusterstorming anything relevant.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Are you playing any tournaments this weekend? Are you covering all of them?
I'm in the booth the whole weekend. So I'm here for Legacy. I'll be here tomorrow for Highlander. I'm thinking I might try and get 2 people in to commentate while I just pull the strings. Save my voice, because, you know, I'm casting 8 rounds today, doing 8 rounds again tomorrow and 8 rounds again the next day. It's a lot of talk.
I mean, like, if you want to go take a break and rest your voice and want me to just yabber on for the next X minutes, as long as you don't mind me not necessarily commentating on the match and instead just telling people stories about metagames.
I like stories. I heard today, actually, that this store's pretty close to where metagames used to be, or something like that.
Yeah, it is. It is certainly... well, I mean, it's probably an 8-minute walk.
Okay.
So...
Give or take. No one's timing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Give or take like 14 seconds.
Ooh, Chase the Mind Sculptor.
Oh, we're just going to see it tick up on this, Jace.
Yeah, it's
powerful. Good on you, Simon. You know what to do.
And John, I've got to say, John, not as skilled as our round 1 player, Graham King, who managed to show the card to their opponent and the camera perfectly.
Oh.
It was just tilted upwards just enough to get the camera to see it neatly.
So, I tell you what's interesting, right? John has a fetch land here.
Okay.
If I was Simon, no matter what that card was, I'd be like, yeah, you can have that. I just realized, snap, you can have that.
Okay, sure.
Now, interestingly, John cracks his fetch here, which I just, I don't approve.
It's tough, you know. Jace it's going to be curating your draw for the rest of the game, presumably. I mean, you know, there might be some brainstorm turns, but not with a Sylvan Library in play. I think, you know, Simon's just going to be pretty happily sitting here on a full grip as it is.
Yeah, we're going to see it tick up, tick up, tick up, tick up, tick up, tick up, and then ultimate on Jace.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and if something happens where Simon no longer has access to the 3 Force of Will negations that he currently has, then maybe we'll see a brainstorm in order to find another blue card or something.
Yeah, but the Sylvan Library's there for that anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So
Simon, with this board loadout, could reasonably safely just pay 8 life next turn and be happy with it.
Yeah, I think that you don't actually want to go down too low.
Okay.
Just because the way that you lose this is an abrupt decay on the thing, which you can't counter, and then a dark ritual, which you can counter, and then a dark ritual, which you can counter, and then another dark ritual, and a tendrils.
Yeah, sure.
But that's still only like a storm count of like 7 or something.
Yeah.
And if you stay on 21 life, then there's just no way that.
All right, so I think if there's 2 good cards there, you just pay 4 and take both good cards. If you see, a force and another piece of interaction, Narset or something like that.
Well, he's already got 2 forces in hand.
Okay. He has paid 4 here, so down to 17.
Yeah, and maybe you want another land, but like
16, actually, there was a fetch land. Oh, we're going to run out of coverage dice. You're killing me here. I forgot one of my oversized D20s today.
Cool.
I mean, there's no Okos in the format anymore, right? There's none of these Planeswalkers with 12 dice on them for loyalty.
Wow. I mean, this is some old school Magic though, like ticking up on Jace.
Yeah.
As the win comes.
That's one of my favourite ways to end a game of Magic. And there's a Lotus Petal.
The old Lotus Petal guy, definitely silence.
Alright, and Hullbreacher coming down. Just another piece of the you can't play Magic how you're intending to puzzle, There's the curated draws, there's the sorcery speed only, there's the can't draw cards, there's the 1 non-creature spell a turn. It's all just tiny little rules adjustments that all together make life really hard for John. And you're definitely not going to see, an end of turn abrupt decay to open all of this up. That's the biggest issue.
Yeah, you can't even end of turn it because it's the Teferi who's the.
You'd have to main phase kill the Teferi, next turn kill end step kill the Deafening Silence.
So I don't like this play by Simon of unearthing the Uro.
Okay.
Because when you attack with the Hullbreacher now, John's going to go to 11, which means you can't actually Jace Ultimate before you kill him with damage. So
all that matters is the Jace Ultimate. I mean, look, I've been in that position. I've not attacked with my creature lands because, I wanted my opponent to feel the despair of having just 3 cards in their library, all of which I chose. But, sometimes you've got to take your wins where you can get them, right?
Yeah.
It's a tough life. There's not much to say here, really.
Just abrupt decay is still technically an out, but the problem is that it has to be like abrupt decay, then abrupt decay, and then dark ritual, dark ritual, dark ritual, dark ritual.
Yeah.
4 dark rituals, abrupt decay, tendrils.
And the thing you'd be worried about in Vintage in this situation would be Mind's Desire. But that's not a stress here, Like in Simon's seat, if your opponent, it decays and then casts some rituals and it's not lethal yet, you don't need to counter anything.
So card put on the bottom. Interesting. By Simon.
Maybe it was a abrupt decay.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the only card that Simon has to worry about. So it's got to.
Yeah.
It's got to be. It's got to be an abrupt decay on the bottom. It's got to be.
Could be. I can't think of much else really. There's really not much. It's got to be uncounterable. I mean, and Simon's on 21 here as well. Even with the 28 rituals line, it doesn't do the job.
All right, there we go.
And that's the match. That's the ball game. We're going to bring it back into the booth here.
We're coming back into the booth.
Yeah. Well, that was that was a quick cut. That was the end of round 4 there. Condolences to John Simpson. Those players were both 2-1. So I believe that makes... I'm sorry, who was the other player? I believe that puts Simon locked into the top 8. And I think Douglas...
it puts him to 3-1.
Yep.
And I believe that there are going to be 4 people on XO2.
Okay.
And then there's going to be 4 people that are some other
record.
And I think that only 2 people will be able to ID.
Okay.
So,
it's
based on my math.
I'm hoping it's not a clean cut.
And by math, I mean
Intuition.
eyeball. Yeah, I didn't do any math.
You played Magic for 1 to 20 years.
Yeah, just like 28 players. That's like 4 minus 32. You carry the 1.
All right, we're gonna end round 4 there. I might be back with a between round interview. We'll have to see what we can find. Isaac, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Jimbo.
Maybe we'll hear your dulcet tones in the top 8. Maybe we will see you tomorrow on coverage as well.
Yeah, we'll see.
Catch you when I catch you, when I hit this button.